Now that I'm starting to see, because I never really paid too much attention because I knew that she was selected to try to replace me in some way. So I never really spent a lot of time focusing on her because I knew she was a plant. But when I look at the predatory way that she was looking for the same kind of relationship with Clive Davis as Whitney Houston had, I said, oh, Whitney Houston fame, that's big fame.
Jaguar Wright reveals the danger she faces after exposed Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. Jaguar Wright doesn't hold back when she talks about the power trio she thinks runs the entertainment scene like a secret club: Diddy, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. She calls them the Unholy Trinity, claiming they're working together behind the scenes to control not just the music, but the people in it. To her, they're not just artists or business tycoons, they're the gatekeeper. She says they've built an empire based on manipulation, fear, and silence. Jaguar paints Diddy as the main guy in charge. He's been the devil for 30 years, she said without a second thought. She believes Diddy's influence is deep and his connections go way beyond music. According to her, he traps artists in situations they can't escape, like contracts, secrets, and sometimes even blackmail. She accuses him of pulling people into situations that turn into tools for control, like parties with cameras, secret meetings, and deals that come with strings attached. But she doesn't just stop at Diddy. Jaguar says Jay-Z plays a quieter but just as dangerous role. She describes him as he knows how to keep his hands clean while pulling the strings behind the scenes. She accuses him of covering up scandals, getting rid of competition, and even using people's tragedies to climb higher. In her eyes, Jay didn't just make it to the top, he stepped on people to get there. And then there's Beyoncé. On the outside, she looks perfect, but Jaguar hints that behind that image, she's just as involved in the shady stuff. According to Jaguar, Beyoncé benefits from the silence of others and keeps her throne safe through carefully crafted stories. She's accused the couple of staging public moments to distract from what's really going on behind the scenes. Jaguar even suggests that Beyoncé's rise wasn't natural, but something that was made and protected at all costs. Wright talks about rituals, symbols, and coded behavior. She hints at secret meetups and loyalty tests. While she doesn't outright say there's occult stuff going on, she leaves it open for interpretation. It sounds like something out of conspiracy theories, but coming from Jaguar, it's layered with her own experiences. She claims she's seen too much, and once you're in, you can't unsee the things you witness. But for Jaguar, this isn't just about fame or money. It's about control, silence, and fear. She believes the industry operates like a cult, where power is kept through loyalty and secrecy, and stepping out of line has serious consequences. And just when you think it's all talk, Jaguar drops a chilling detail that changes everything. She says the moment she started naming names, everything shifted. She noticed strange cars parked outside her house, her phone acting weird, messages not going through, and calls dropping when she mentioned certain names. She started feeling watched, not just in public, but even at home. She describes it as feeling hunted. It's not paranoia, she says, it's justified fear. In her words, if something happens to me, you'll know who did it. Jaguar has claimed multiple times that she's being watched and harassed. She's even gone live to show her followers unmarked cars she says are hanging around her place. She talks about friends who stop picking up her calls, sudden communication blackouts, and a constant pressure in the air as if someone is trying to push her to break. In interviews, she looks tired but still determined. She says telling the truth comes with a price, and she knew what she was getting into, but she keeps talking. She believes if she goes quiet now, everything she's warned about becomes even more dangerous. Her fear isn't just for herself, it's for anyone else who might try to speak out.
It's time for Fatima Robinson to speak up about what she heard on that phone. It's time for somebody to be honest about who gave Aaliyah the pills that knocked her out before she was carried onto a plane she didn't want to be on.
One of the most unsettling parts of Jaguar's story comes when she talks about Aaliyah. She brings back questions that have haunted fans for years. What really happened before that tragic plane crash? Who signed what? And who benefited after her death? Jaguar believes Aaliyah's story isn't just a sad accident, it's part of a bigger plan. She mentions the non-disclosure agreements that people around Aaliyah signed after her demise. She questions why certain folks were legally bound to keep quiet and who made those demands. To her, something doesn't add up. Then she takes it further. Jaguar claims that Aaliyah's untimely death cleared the way for Beyoncé. She says Jay-Z had his eye on Aaliyah before he got with Beyoncé, and that Aaliyah was a threat, not just romantically, but professionally. In Jaguar's view, getting rid of Aaliyah wasn't just about love, it was about making room for a new queen to rise. And this theory has been floating around for years, but Jaguar is one of the few with a direct industry background who's willing to talk about it openly.
I know a lot more about you than you think I do. It's time for us to stop pussyfooting with the truth.
Jaguar Wright isn't just throwing shade at the music industry's big shots, she's diving way deeper. She's saying there's a whole system of loyalty rituals where celebs have to back the so-called kings and queens of the game, especially Beyoncé. For instance, Adele at the 2017 Grammys, she received Album of the Year for 25, but used her moment to hype up Beyoncé's Lemonade instead, even saying Beyonce deserved the award. She went so far as to break her Grammy in half on stage and offer part of it to Beyoncé. To most people, it seemed like a sweet gesture, but Jaguar thinks it was more like a staged performance, a public ritual showing that even the top dogs have to bow down to the queen. And then there's Kanye West. His stage crashes at award shows often revolve around Beyoncé. Remember when he interrupted Taylor Swift at the VMAs to defend her? He's always making a scene about how Beyoncé's been wrong. Jaguar believes Kanye's outbursts weren't just random. They were part of the loyalty game, showing who he's got on his side, even if it meant facing backlash. Jaguar also points out that some artists drop hints in their lyrics that suggest there's more going on beneath the surface. J. Cole, for instance, has fans on TikTok dissecting his words, claiming he's hiding messages in plain sight. Jaguar thinks some artists want to spill the truth, but know it comes with a price, so they wrap their messages in metaphors and poetry. And then there's this creepy pattern with death dates. Aaliyah died on August 25th, Lisa left Eyelope's on April 25th, and Michael Jackson on June 25th. Jaguar and her crew don't think that's just a coincidence. They see a pattern, like there's some hidden code in those dates that used to be brushed off as random. She believes there's a dark connection that points to something way more organized. But if it's all just coincidence, why are the Carters so quiet about it? For all of Jaguar's bold claims, the weirdest part isn't just what she's saying, it's what Jay-Z and Beyoncé haven't said back. These two are super careful about their image, yet they haven't made any effort to respond. No interviews, no statements, no lawsuits, nothing. And that silence, it's deafening. For a couple that controls every public move, ignoring such serious accusations is pretty sketchy. Jaguar argues that if she were lying, they would have sued her by now, or at least put out a denial, but instead they've just stayed silent. To Jaguar, that silence is a strategy. She thinks they're not quiet because they don't care, they're quiet because they have too much at stake. A billion-dollar empire, global deals, political ties. Once you start pulling at one thread, the whole thing could unravel, and they know it. But she's not just throwing out theories. She's calling people out. She's linking business partners to shady events and hush money. She even suggests that some companies are in on keeping certain folks quiet. For her, this isn't just about Beyoncé and Jay-Z protecting their image, it's about a whole system working overtime to keep itself safe.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Jaguar's been labeled emotional or unstable in the past, but now a lot of what she said about Diddy is coming true. The guy who used to be all about swagger and power is now facing serious legal trouble. Allegations of assault, trafficking, and abuse are piling up, and Jaguar had already warned us. Long before the headlines, she said Diddy would be the next monster exposed. She didn't just mean he'd be accused, she meant that a whole system would start to crumble because of him. According to her, Diddy isn't just guilty on his own, he's part of a bigger network with Jay-Z acting as a shield. They cover for each other and make sure their secrets stay within the circle. Jaguar draws a chilling connection: Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, R. Kelly, Diddy, Jay-Z. All roads lead to the same puppet master. She sees these stories not as isolated scandals, but as pieces of one massive puzzle where fame, power, and silence all serve the same purpose: control. As Diddy's empire starts to crack, Jaguar's credibility is on the rise. She's not shocked by the headlines or the lawsuits. She says this was bound to happen, and now that the floodgates are open, she believes more will fall too.
Mary J. Blige, she's been there since the very beginning. She was pushing, 26 when she was having intimate physical engagement with Danny Boy, who was 15, 16 years old.
This Mary J. Blige, I'm 15, 16 years old, and she flying me in. And you know what it is when a girl back up on you, you young.
Allegedly, one of those tapes that Courtney Burgess say that he never saw was with Diddy, a very 16-year-old and a very 26-year-old Mary J. Blige.
Mary J, Danny Boy. Danny Boy back then, he looked like he was about 16. They both was out.
Dudes that she was messing around with that was in the industry, was they R&B singers or producers or?
Producers and singers. Two guys with one girl, it's a little questionable to me. And it's a lot of people that can say that they've done it, but it's a lot of people that it's a habit for them.
So here's the deal with Jaguar Wright. Behind all the drama and those wild rants, you can really see how much she's struggling. It's not just about fighting the system. She's dealing with some serious loneliness. We've all seen her break down on live streams. Sometimes she's crying. Other times she's yelling, pacing around, talking to herself, or just sitting there in silence. Those moments have gone viral, not just for what she's saying, but for how she's looking while saying it. People have jumped on those clips to call her crazy, bitter, or mentally unstable. Even some of her old friends and collaborators have quietly distanced themselves from her. It's pretty clear Jaguar is out there on her own. But here's the big question. Is she really losing it, or is she just cracking under all the pressure of what she knows? This kind of thing happens a lot in the entertainment world. Label someone as a problem, make them seem unstable, and suddenly everyone forgets about their message and focuses on their mental state. Jaguar claims this is a deliberate tactic. It's how the industry tries to discredit people who speak out too much or know too much. She's not the first to go through this, and she probably won't be the last. She talks about the loneliness, the betrayals, the public humiliation. They're all part of the price she's paying. For her, this isn't a breakdown, it's a battle cry. But here's the question. Is Jaguar Wright a brave truth teller fighting against all odds? Or is she just a woman crumbling under her own trauma, lashing out everywhere? Because whether you believe her or not, her story has already changed how people see the industry. And it makes us ask something most people don't want to think about. What if the biggest stars in the world aren't who we think they are? Is Jaguar Wright risking everything for the truth, or is she already too late? Let me know what you think in the comments. See y'all in the next video.